Peace, family. If you've ever had any type of pain in your low back getting up out of the bed, oh, I feel really tight on one side, or it's in the middle to low part of your back, odds are you probably have a very tight quadratus lumborum, QL for short. It is our most posterior ab muscle that you'll find in our body. It is basically our suitcase muscle. It helps hold us up from side to side, okay? And we use it all day, every day, and it's very, very, very easy for us to get tight and have that thing overactive. And I want to show you guys how to go ahead and help to release that so that you can get back to your normal day-to-day activities. So here I have a lacrosse ball. A baseball would be good for this. Tennis ball would be okay. You want something firm, something hard, something dense. Then also for my peeps that have the lovely Theracanes, I will also give you guys a little tutorial on how I utilize my Theracane for myself, my fascial mobilization as well. So hopefully you guys can get some insight on how to use that and this. But we're gonna go ahead and start out with this ball. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to pin the muscle. Well, let me back up a little bit. Before we pin the muscle, what we're trying to do is we're trying to release the muscle, okay? Our body's response to pain is to tighten up or seize up so that we don't go injuring ourselves, okay? So not all the time are we injured, but we might be hurting, okay? So in order for that hurt to go away, we need to go ahead and elongate the muscle and let it know that it can actually release, okay? So that's what we're gonna do with this. We're going to go in on a quadratus lumborum, or QL trigger point. There are several throughout that muscle, but the ones that I usually find luck with on being able to release my muscle are these couple of points that we're going to go into now. I'm going to give you a side view and then also, of course, a back view, because you guys kind of need to know where to place the ball, right? So if we were looking at the back, we have our quadratus lumborum that run from the bottom of our rib cage, so off our 12th ribs, and they come down and they connect right here on those little eyeballs that we have that sit at our hip bones, okay? That's your PSIS, or top back part of the hip, okay? So the QL comes from the bottom of the 12th rib and inserts onto the hip muscle, or the hip bone, okay? And its job is to hold us upright. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be finding these trigger points that are along this line, which normally are up right in by that 12th rib, right underneath that 12th rib. So what I like to do is I like to take my ball, all right, put it right there on that 12th rib. I slide down and I start on my side. And it takes a little bit of rolling, okay? What we're trying to do again is find a knot, okay, that you might feel a shooting, radiating pain that kind of starts real dull, right in the center of where the ball is, and then starts to slowly start to shoot right in down to that hip. That's what we're looking for, okay? So what I like to do is I like to find that little muscle that's in between my 12th rib and my spine, and then I lay down on it, and I slowly start to open my chest up and roll up just a hair to where I can start to feel, okay, now I'm on something. I feel radiating, and now I feel it traveling down into my hip bone. That's how I know that I'm on my QL, okay? What we're gonna do here is we're gonna do some deep breaths, okay? And what we're trying to do is wait for that muscle to release, okay? There are different cues to knowing that the muscle's released. The biggest cue is that you feel your body sink into the ball a little bit more. Another big one are involuntary twitches from your muscle. If you feel your muscle starting to twitch, that's a great thing. Hold on to it, okay? Woo! When you're going down to find other spots, it's not supposed to be comfortable, guys, okay? So really get up in there. And now I feel a straight shot straight down to my hip. I know that I'm right on the point that I need to be on. So what I like to do here is relax my left side as much as possible, all right, while still applying pressure, and I'm waiting to see if I can feel my body actually give me that twitch response. That's what I like as a clinician when I'm on my patients. I really, really, really look for that twitch response, because majority of times there will be a twitch response with a releasing of a muscle. And that's always very promising. Here goes mine, okay? So now I'm on that back side, really rolling in and kind of rolling back and forth, I can still feel that tight band, and all I'm trying to do is just relax in there, okay? Whew. And so you see me kind of sliding up, all right? If I came off the ball, you can see that that ball is underneath that 12th rib, but more so almost starting into L1, that low of that lumbar spine, okay? L2, L3, they do also connect to the lumbar vertebrae as well on the sides of them, okay? And that's how we are able to hold ourselves up. All right, I'm just kind of walking that ball down. Again, you can see it going a little bit lower. And then I want to follow myself back up to where that point was, that it was just like really intense, okay? And I just want to make sure that it's not as intense anymore, okay? Not as intense, it's still a little tight, but I know that I felt that twitch response and I felt that radiating pain, so I know that it is released a little bit, which is really nice. So I'm gonna come off of that. That's how you would work on the lacrosse ball, okay? I do like to do a couple of test stretches with this. Basically what we're trying to do is come down and touch our hands to the floor, okay? Here you should feel a good stretch. I don't feel too much of a stretch on my left side because we did just release it, but I can feel that my right side is tight. And as I come up, I can start to feel the pull on that right side as well. That's a really good indicator on if your QL is tight enough. Always do a before stretch test so that you can kind of monitor where you're at. Another good one is just straightforward. Again, I can really feel my right side is super tight. My left side feels like it could go forever now because of that release. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys how to do the release with the Theracane, okay? So on that release with the Theracane, I'm just going to go ahead and turn backwards. What we're trying to do is essentially the same exact thing we were doing with the ball. However, we have our cane, so we're going to be able to kind of utilize ourselves and mobilize this way. I like to kind of get in a position where I can start to lean or rest myself onto that right side, so this whole body will let go. I will shortly get down onto the ground and show you guys how I kind of use the ground and the stick to help release those really naughty muscles. But anyway, I'm going back up to the top of that 12th rib. All right, and I'm coming down right beside that spinal erector right here. That thing's super tight too, but I'm not really worried about that one right now as much as I am that quadratus lumborum. So you can see right where I'm digging, okay? Right underneath that 12th rib. And once I get that, I'm gonna come back onto my elbow so that my whole right side can release. And I'm really pushing this Theracane and pulling it away from me so that it can push deep into my back, okay? And I'm trying to hook that cane onto that muscle and then just relax everything. And wow, it's traveling right to my hip. So I'm on that point. I'm gonna sit up. I don't advise you to do this if you're in this position now, just stay there. But I'm gonna sit up and I wanna show you where I'm at. That's that trigger point that I'm at. I have slid down a little bit more, but I did find that second trigger point on my QL on the right side is a really good one, okay? So here we are. All right. And again, you're just trying to hold out, letting the body rest. It's not supposed to be comfortable. It is supposed to be an uncomfortable pain. You might feel heat radiation, like radiating heat. You might feel sharp shooting pains, something like that. That's all common, that's all normal, that's all necessary, okay? So I would say go 30 to 60 seconds, depending on how tight you are, per side or per trigger point. You might have to get in there a couple of times, but I do feel like, yeah, that was able to really help. I mean, and that was just in a couple of minutes, okay? So you don't have to sit there in pain, guys, at all. Run this video back, definitely save it, share it, because you know your other friends have back pain, back problems too. Thank you all so much for coming on. I bored him out of his mind. I bored him to sleep. But hopefully you guys learned something that is your QL trigger point self-myofascial release. Coming at you. Your girl Fit Brit. Thanks, guys.